welcome to Raise Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and in this episode, we're going to be looking at the Dinosaur Scrapbook by Donald F. Glutt. The dinosaur in amusement parks, comic books, fiction, history, magazines, movies, museums, and television. Illustrated with more than 600 photographs, drawings, cartoons, and posters. Now, this book came out in 1980, long before Jurassic Park came and exploded on the scene and made dinosaurs hotter than ever. I mean, they were hot at various times all along since their inception. But, since we realized, hey, we didn't find the bones of giants or dragons or whatever, they started writing about dinosaurs. They've always captured the public's imagination. This is a really good overview. Obviously, covering this much, it's not a complete. It would have been, 10 times bigger, if not more, to cover everything. And there have been entire books put out about things that he covers in just one chapter in this book. So, obviously, this is not some kind of complete encyclopedia of these things. It's like he says, a scrapbook. I got it in 1980. I was in my 20s at the time. If this had come out when I was a kid and I had seen some of this stuff and had no way of tracking it down or anything, it would have made me insane. Luckily, it came along at a time when I soon moved to a larger city from the small town I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I had a lot more access to a lot more of this stuff. And this is a great, fun book. Again, if you're not familiar with it, do you need this for a reference? Probably not, but it's a fun book to look through, and it's fun to look at how this was handled, how he talks about this and how these things looked. Again, this is before Jurassic Park. It's also before our view of what dinosaur physiology had changed so much. So this is a lot of fun in here. So I'm going to flip through it really quick. I won't take too long. I won't belabor the point, but let's go through here. So it has an introduction by Ray Harryhausen and one by Robert Long. Of course, Ray Harryhausen, who has contributed a lot to dinosaur pop culture with his stop-motion animation films. So, there we go, acknowledgements. Now, contents, like I said, there's been whole books written about some of these chapters since then, but let me give you just a quick look at it. Chapter 1 is Dinosaurs of the Crystal Palace. 2 is Dinosaurs at the World Fair. 3, Lost Worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs. 4, Pulp Dinosaurs. 5, Dinosaurs Invade the Screen. 6, Dinosaur Impersonators. 7, Prehistoric Monsters Japanese Style. 8, Dinosaur Cartoons. 9, Dinosaurs on the Air. It's about dinosaurs in TV shows. 10, Dinosaurs in the Comics. 11, Dinosaur Land. 12, Dinosaur Parks. And 13, Prehistoric Potpourri. Now some of these illustrations in the different chapters do not go with the material that's on that page or even in that chapter sometimes. I think he had more illustrations for certain types of articles and subjects than he did for others, and so they're not exactly lined up. But just full of fantastic illustrations. There's a pre-production art for the stop-motion movie Creation, which never ended up happening. Great picture. Preface, Glutt talking about himself as a kid and his absolute love of all things dinosaur. This first chapter is about the Dinosaurs of the Crystal Palace, which was a museum that used some of the earliest studies of what we thought dinosaurs were like to do recreations, life-size models of dinosaurs. And it's still there today. This is Waterhouse Hawkins. Is this was his idea about what he thought the dinosaurs were like. This is in for these models. I mean, these are the early sketches for them. Here's pictures of the models, and this park is still there in London, where they originally had these models. I believe it's in the same location. Here's these early depictions, and here's these early models of dinosaurs. And of course, they're totally wrong. They got a lot of it wrong. And some of the C ones, but like I said, these models are still there. They're still on display. I would like to go visit those. I have not had the opportunity. Like I said, they're pretty off. These early depictions of dinosaurs, though. I do like this. They have the Diplodocus, which is, of course, very different now. But they have his legs spread out like a crocodile's. All right, and the World's Fair, these giant models they had at the World's Fair. And this was the World's Fair as it ran in 33 to 34. The Sinclair Refining Company, Sinclair Gasoline and Oil, because the dinosaurs they knew by that time were that's where we were getting oil and stuff from, or at least part of the place. And you can see how the recreations are getting more in line with what we know today. And this is really the starting pistol going off for people loving dinosaurs, was seeing these life-size models. So that, and museums started having dinosaur exhibits. Now they talk about making full-size models, dinosaurs. Look at that. Very cool. Then Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now, Edgar Rice Burroughs, of course, is most famous for Tarzan, John Carter, Warlord of Mars, At the Earth's Core, which is people go to the middle of the Earth and they find out the Earth is hollow and has all kinds of prehistoric animals and people living there. A lot of Burroughs fiction, and Tarzan goes there. A lot of Burroughs fiction, and Burroughs was incredibly popular at the time. A lot of his different fictions had dinosaurs, or at least creatures that were probably based on dinosaurs. And here's later comics based on Burroughs' work. So, and there's The Land That Time Forgot, a British film made from one of Burroughs' works. More. And that's from At the Earth's Core. Those aren't very dinosaur-like. And here's a reptile that blows shoots fire out of its mouth, so not very. These creatures, which in earlier pictures look a lot more like flying reptiles, like pterodactyls or something. They look a lot different in the movies that they did. They're telepathic creatures. They're not really very pterodactyl-y in the way they act, so having them look like guys in suits fits okay with that. Then there's Pulp Adventures with Dinosaurs. All kinds of dinosaurs in the pulps. I'm going to slide through this really quick. I'm not going to spend quite so long here. But terrific stuff there. And of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't see much about The Lost World, the book The Lost World. Did I have it? It doesn't have an index in there. Okay, so yeah, well, here at least it's talking about, because this Dinosaurs Invade the Screen, so it starts off with Willis O'Brien talking about, and it's talking about these are dinosaurs from the movie The Lost World, which is Arthur Conan Doyle, who did Sherlock Holmes, wrote an incredibly popular and famous book called The Lost World, about some people who discover a lost world on a plateau in South America, and it's got all these dinosaurs on it, and so they're talking about the fact that the movie's based on the book, but I'm surprised they didn't write about the book earlier. That's all. Sorry I slowed down so much there, folks. But anyway, Willis O'Brien, of course, is the fellow behind the special effects for King Kong. So he went from these the Lost World dinosaurs are The Lost World is a silent film. Here's one of the first monsters on the loose in a city kind of scenarios with the Brontosaurus at the end of The Lost World. I think, if I remember correctly, the book just has them, they bring back a pterodactyl and it flies away home. And their proof disappears. But in this, they bring back a Brontosaurus and it goes on a rampage and then jumps into the sea and I guess swims back to South America. I doubt very much he would have made it, but what the heck. So anyway, this Willis O'Brien thing, after that, just not that long afterwards, he does the special effects for King Kong, which of course has sound, but it looks so much better. And of course, King Kong is my favorite movie of all time. It's I don't know if it's really what started me loving dinosaurs so much, but certainly it's the movie that cemented in my mind what I wanted from a dinosaur film. And it was the gold standard. It really made me not like, when I was a real little kid, I liked Godzilla. I thought Godzilla was fun. But when I saw the ape suit, they had several films, including King Kong vs. Godzilla, and I got really mad at the guys who made Godzilla because the King Kong suit was so shabby, wasn't stop motion. I despised it, and so for a while I disliked Godzilla, who I had liked as a kid. See, I didn't mind the men in suits. I just didn't like when they were trying to portray dinosaurs or my beloved King Kong with the suits. When I thought of Godzilla as something different than the dinosaur movies or the King Kong movies, they were okay. But, boy, not happy with them. Some great shots from... This is from that... I think it was Dell that did the movie adaptation of Kong. It's not bad. It's, not exactly... doesn't exactly look like Kong or the creatures that were in the movie, but not bad. There's Son of Kong, which, I gotta say I was disappointed in as a kid. But, it's got some fun little dinosaurs and stuff in it. There's a little comic strip they did for the film's press book. This is some terrific stuff here. This is that's the beast from Hollow Mountain. I think MST3K has since done a riff of that. It's pretty funny. The movie's not really that good. There's the stop motion in this was not really done by Willis O'Brien. He kind of oversaw it, but he did not do it. I'm not sure how much even overseeing he did it of it. I think I know they based the movie off a story of his. But anyway, I just remember there's one part where the creature's tongue kind of lolls out of its mouth, and they used to use that in TV commercials all the time. When this, I don't know if the movie fell into public domain or what, but that model is kind of famous from TV commercials. Now here's where they start going into Ray Harryhausen's contributions to the animated dinosaurs, including the Animal World. Animal World was a documentary. Most of it was current day nature footage, but the very beginning of it started with these dinosaurs. The sets that the dinosaurs are on are really cheap and sparse looking, not interesting at all. So they're not nearly as dynamic as the stuff Ray Harryhausen usually did. But they had separated that out and would show it at school sometimes. And of course, seeing it, that, and the beginning of Fantasia, the animated part with the dinosaurs in it, they would oftentimes cut that out of the whole movie, and they would show that at school sometimes when they were illustrating the dinosaurs. Both good memories. Raquel Welch and some more dinosaurs from 1 million years BC. And there's a saber tooth from Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger, fighting the horned troglodyte. I guess he didn't think that having the troglodyte himself was impressive enough, so they put a horn on his head. Jim Danforth did the special effects for the follow-up, When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. There's some really great animation in this one. Well worth seeing. And then the last of these films didn't have dinosaurs in it. So I'm not sure. I guess he just couldn't pass up the poster. And then he goes back and covers some of the other things. This is the Czech film Journey to the Beginning of Time, which played with, here in the U.S., with some stuff cut out and a little part added of some kids visiting a museum and then going from the museum to Central Park in New York. And then do they imagine it? Do they really go back in time? Who knows? But then they see a lot of really interesting animated dinosaurs there. And here's various dinosaurs. Many of them were puppet dinosaurs and or guys in suits kind of thing, or not very interesting. Dinosaurs did have model dinosaurs, but they were played for laughs. So it's a little kids movie. Crater Lake Monster I didn't see till it got on video. and it's got a few minutes of good dinosaur footage, but it's really a talky B movie, except for those dinosaur things. And Planet of the Dinosaurs, I didn't see till later too. Not much of a story, some pretty bad dialogue, but a lot of really good for the budget dinosaur animation. Terrific amount of dinosaurs. Planet of the Dinosaurs. This one's been riffed too, I think by riff tracks. But you don't need riff tracks to enjoy this, because there's so much dinosaur footage, and the dialogue's so unintentionally funny that it's a good time. This is the Dinosaur Impersonators. I really don't like this kind of stuff. It's it's when they glue fins or on lizards, or they put carpets over the back of an elephant to make him a woolly mammoth. Poor little dwarf alligator with a fin glued on his back. I'm not sure why guys in suits are in here in this part, but anyway, it's all in non-stop motion stuff. A giant armadillo. Okay, let's go past this kind of stuff. See, this should be in the even though it's not Reptilicus, even though it's not Japanese, it's a kaiju kind of thing. It's not any kind of dinosaur. It's just some make-believe, goofy, giant monster. Yeah, the Unknown Island with their guys in suits. Like I said, let's not go through this whole thing here. Then the Japanese monsters. Like I said, when I was younger, I was enjoying the Godzilla stuff, and then let's see, like this. Here's that's from a Judge Dredd 2000 AD comic. Just in there for no reason, just to fill up some space, I guess. Rodan. This horrible paste up. I hate these photos. These paste up that have nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. I mean, that's a paste up that they had used in a pasted up King Kong publicity photo. And there's just terrible. But the King Kong suit in this made me so mad. This is from King Kong Escapes. The suit in that is just terrible. I got so mad for a while. Now, actually, I can watch these movies and laugh. I have more of a sense of humor about it. But man, when I was a kid, I took King Kong very seriously. And I really, really hated those terrible suits. Have Godzilla in comic books. This is from when Godzilla made an appearance on Ultraman. They put a big fin around his head so he looked like a different monster. But then during the fight, Ultraman rips it off. And then you can really tell it's dinosaur cartoons. Okay, so there's from Fantasia. It's the Rite of Spring part that they used to cut out and show separately at school. There's Dreams of the Rarebite Fiend by Winsor McCay, who did Little Nemo. And he was also pretty famous at the time for making the Gertie the Dinosaur silent cartoons, which were he would come out on stage when the cartoons were showing, or at least not every time, but there'd be a part where he'd come out and pretend like he was telling Gertie what to do, and then Gertie would, the cartoon, of course he knew what the cartoon was going to do. So all these early cartoon dinosaurs, kind of silly, but fun. Here's this is from Land of the Lost. This is dinosaur TV shows. Again, I think he didn't have enough, or maybe he couldn't get the rights to use the photos for some of these TV series. So instead he's got a lot of dinosaur comics in this section on TV shows. Outer Limits because of a prehistoric fish, the Flintstones. When I was a kid, I hated the Flintstones. I still don't like them, but I don't hate them anymore. But I didn't like that the dinosaurs were just there, and the plots were just regular grown-up kind of stupidity. So they weren't funny at all to me, and I didn't like the way they used dinosaurs. Blah, Flintstones. And Hanna-Barbera had dinosaurs in a lot of their stuff. A lot of their cartoons, Valley of Dinosaurs. There's Land of the Lost again, which I did watch, even though I was too old. But, you know, the stories, they actually tried to do a little bit more with a lot of the stories. I mean, the acting was still kid-level acting, kid TV show level acting, but there was a couple interesting story ideas in it. Dinosaurs in the comics. Alley Oop. Joe Kubert. I like Joe Kubert's art. He's got a good, strong, you know, his Tarzan stuff, you know, he does a good deal of making you feel like you're watching looking at something prehistoric, because he's got this dark lines. He's a terrific artist. Look at that. Look at the action in that. That's great stuff. And he did a bunch of stuff with prehistoric animals. Anyway, a lot of comics. Obviously, they couldn't cover every comic that had dinosaurs because, geez, there were a lot of them, which was great. It comes up to this one by Richard Corbin. I've got that around somewhere. Terrific stuff. Oh yeah, and I love the artwork in this by John Buscema and Alfred Alcala, I guess you say his name. They were a great team to do the artwork for. They did this for the Savage Sword of Conan, which was the black and white Conan comic. So yeah, lots and lots. Turok, Son of Stone, of course. One of the longest running comics. It's all about two Native Americans who go into a valley, the Hidden Valley or whatever it was called, and there's dinosaurs. And it's not sure whether they time travel by going into the valley or whether all these things just exist there. But it's huge, so I don't think so. And plus, they seem to go to the ocean at some point. So I guess they go back in time. Anyway, Devil Dinosaur by Kirby. Look at all these dinosaurs. Dinosaur Land. This is about a theme park for dinosaur sculptures and stuff. There were a bunch of places around the country called Dinosaur Land, including one in Virginia that I took my girls to when they were little, and these theme parks and stuff. And the Dinosaur Land in Virginia does not have rides or anything. Some of these places have rides and all kinds of stuff. All the Dinosaur Land in Virginia has is the statues. All these different life-size dinosaurs roaming the countrysides, and of course most of these are long gone. Too bad. So sad. Well, I said this was going to be a short one. I was wrong. I like this, a map of which of the prehistoric gardens, to make sure you don't miss. You can do a checklist of all the different dinosaur displays. You don't miss any. Don't miss your favorite dinosaur, kids. And see, that's another place called Dinosaur Land. That's not the Dinosaur Land I used to. And then this final chapter is just a whole bunch of stuff from all over the place. Toys. Some of the original drawings of what they thought dinosaurs looked like. That looks like a little kid did it. course, this is the Charles Knight mural. I didn't point it out. There's several places throughout the book where his work, that's weird because that's another one that he probably should have done a whole chapter on, was there were a handful of artists whose work on the dinosaurs were the most, Charles Knight probably being the big one, whose work is what everybody else took their stuff from. They took their recreations, they took the comic art, they took, everybody was copying these things. And, Ray Harryhausen and Willis O'Brien, they were taking stuff from them. There's one by James Allen. That's another big one. Dinosaur Parade, Balloon Parade. And then, and because I guess they were kind of friends, and he thought William Stout was doing some of the best art at the time. And these are I wish these were in color. They've been printed in color in several places now. But William Stout, he did art for comics. He did a lot of movie pre-production art, and he did a lot of dino stuff. And so he prints a couple pages of those. All right. And there's a little bit back here about dinosaur toys, but I recognize some of these from when I was a kid. They were a lot of fun. I loved dinosaur toys when I was a kid. Dinosaur models. Of course, there are, you could make, after Jurassic Park, I have a price guide to dinosaur toys, and it covers the older ones, but the part about Jurassic Park in it is like, I swear to God, it's more than half the book. Because Jurassic Park just blew the lid off. Anyway. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed looking back through this book, which, like I said, many great memories of looking through this and loving this. And even when I got this book brand new, it was more about nostalgia than about, anything else. So it's doubly nostalgic now. I love this book. I think it's worth looking at for anybody who loves dinosaurs. And I think there was I don't know if it was reprinted or not. I don't think it's very hard to find, though, used, but I could be wrong. Have a good day.